Hello, my dear students. Welcome to AKS IS Academy, Hyderabad. Today, we are trying to understand a very important subject in your UPSC examination, which is called Science and Technology. This lesson is presented by me. My name is Shahid Hashmi. This is my area of expertise. That's one of the reason I'm trying to teach you something that I know. Now, when you talk about science and technology, a lot of people confuse science and technology with general science. Please understand, general science is way different from science and technology. In general science, you study physics, chemistry, biology, whereas in science and technology, you study the application of physics, chemistry, and biology. Every year, you can expect 1 to 2 questions coming from science and technology. And to make our job easy, to make our work easy, one thing that is very sure about science and technology is that the questions are asked from last one calendar year. That means 12 months from the date of your examination. But I will suggest that you study at least 16 months before from the date of examination only science and technology, that too from current affairs. So anything that has appeared in current affairs in last 16 months from your date of examination, you should study to tackle the questions that are coming from science and technology. Okay. So what we will do is that we will take up the topics that had appeared in last 16 months one by one, which I feel as are important, right? They could be a topic that I may not have done, but right, that could be because I feel that that topic may not be that important. So nothing in UPSC is not important. It is only important or that important. Okay. So we will do that. We will take one by one and then we'll move on slowly, move towards more complex topics. Try to understand from prelims perspective. We'll try to understand from mains perspective. Why not interview? Let's not overact. Let's not become too optimistic. Right? Why to think about interview when it's too far? Let's try to understand from prelims and mains perspective and see whether we'll be able to take questions that will come in exam from this particular topic. Okay, so that's a little bit small introduction about science and technology. Now moving on to the topic. Today what I will do is that I will do two important topics that are appearing in paper and I'll tell you how. That is, one is about blood and blood components and the second one is about antigen. Now you might be thinking, why sir is teaching about blood? खून तो सबके पास है. Why are you sitting about blood? I have blood. My blood boils. My blood boils. No one's blood boils. Okay. This is just a metaphor. My blood boils. I will show you. Blood in the eyes. Blood in the hands. Range aat. Khoon ke haath. All that Bollywood dialogues. Here, as a part of a UP examination, you should understand that how questions might come out of a topic that you have not even imagined. If I tell you that this particular topic is appearing again and again in in your newspaper, you will be shocked. You'll be like, sir, how is that possible? How can you say the blood is appearing in newspaper? I'm not telling blood is appearing. I'm telling you the topic related to blood is appearing in newspaper in your current affairs. Can you tell how? I will tell how. Have you not, heard or are you not hearing a lot about plasma theory? Donate plasma, because plasma, has been regarded as one of the successful treatment for COVID. And we know what is COVID. I will go do about that detail sometime later. When you're talking about plasma comes from blood. So you have to study blood. That is how UPSC will ask. UPSC is not worried about who is donating plasma in Delhi or in Maharashtra. They are worried about that once something appear in newspaper, does my student, does a guy who wants to become IAS in future, does a guy who wants to join services in future, right? Does he know about it? Does he know the basics of it? Right? The very clear basics. And that basics comes from blood. Okay. So we'll study about blood and blood components, and then we'll also study about antigens. These are the two topics that we'll try to finish today in this particular lesson that I'm trying to teach you right now. For any doubts, please put your question in comment section. We'll see, we'll try to answer your questions, or, we'll try to take up it in the next lesson. So always go through the index. There will be part 1, part 2, part 3 like that, and we'll go on completing multiple modules for science and technology. So that tomorrow, even when you are confused, you can just open up and see, whatever you want to study. Also, students, please remember, when we talk about online studying, the most important thing is that you have to write down. Because see, you are not, with me, right? I'm not able to look at you. I don't know whether you are looking at my lessons, you are eating chocolates or Amul dark chocolate. I don't know about it. But what I know is that if you write, then you will be in synchronization with what I am teaching. And that should also help you for revision. We are not chitty robot, right? We have to remember this for next few months and probably more than that, few more months. So we have to always write down the notes whenever we are watching a lesson, especially when you are attending a virtual class. Okay, now moving on to our first topic. When you talk about blood and blood components, we need to understand what is a blood. Blood is a life liquid of your body. It's the most important liquid in your body. Why? Because this blood, that comes out when you cut yourself by mistake. You see people looking at blood. They drink blood from their finger thinking that it will go to stomach and then again will go back to body. All that won't happen. That's just a system that we follow. Please remember, the blood that you see is not a very small or normal liquid. It's a miracle. It carries electrolytes. It carries hormones. There are hormones that make you to laugh, sleep, enjoy, be happy, be sad, get depressed. It carries hormones. It nourishes your body. It carries vitamins. It carries antibodies. It carries oxygen. It also carries immune cells to the body tissues. You see, it carries everything to the body tissues. It's not a simple thing. So many things are carried by the blood. So it forms a very important component of your body. And blood is not like us. When it goes to tissues, okay, let's see, a blood goes to tissues. You just don't drop this and come back. While coming back, blood carries waste matter and carbon dioxide. That is the beauty of blood. It goes to the tissues, but while it coming back, it also carries waste matter and carbon dioxide. That is how, blood basically works. Now, we should also understand that what are the different components of the blood, or what is blood made up of. Blood is basically made up of 4 important components. One is plasma. The second one is red blood cells. The third one is white blood cells. And the fourth one is platelets. We will see each of this one by one and their functions. And what are the importance of them. What role they play in our body. Also remember, where are blood cells made if they ask you in prelims, which of the following statements are true, or where are the blood cells made if they ask you in prelims. Remember, blood cells are made in bone marrow. It is a spongy space in our body. Okay, in joints, within our bones, it's our spongy space where blood cells are made. So that's also very important. Right? They might ask you the questions from this basics point of view. Okay. So Let's now try to understand the different components of the blood. What are their functions? How are they important? What role they play in our body? The first one I was talking about plasma. Have you heard about plasma? Plasma TVs. Plasma TV has nothing to do with blood plasma. This plasma is basically a liquid portion of the blood. More or less 90% of the plasma is water. Very, very important for you. Tomorrow if they ask you a question that plasma has only water, then it is wrong. Although 90% right of plasma is water. And it is a plasma that contains non-cellular components of your blood, which are immunoglobulins and proteins and electrolytes. These are non-cellular. They do not have cells. They do not have cells. So that's why they are non-cellular components. Also, plasma contains a very important protein called albumin. Heard about albumin? And albumin is so important that now we are trying to understand, does albumin play a big role in controlling diabetes? So we are trying to understand that also. And don't forget, it is a plasma that keeps fluid from leaking out of your blood vessels and tissues. If you do not have plasma, and that too albumin, there are high chances, not even chances, there is 100% surety that the blood will start leaking out of the blood vessels and into the tissues, which might create severe condition, even leading to that. So that's the major role played by plasma, that it helps your body vessel to contain fluid. The second component of your blood is RBC. You have all heard about RBC. We also call them erythrocytes. RBC, you hear it almost every other day. RBCs, RBCs, RBCs. We need to understand that RBC will live only for 120 days and they die. The protein that is present in RBC, please note down, please note down, don't forget. The protein that is present in RBC is hemoglobin. The way you have albumin there, in plasma, the protein that is present in your RBC is hemoglobin. This RBC also carries fresh oxygen throughout the body. The oxygen that you take, right? Right? It carries the fresh oxygen throughout the body. That means reduction in RBC. That means reduction in RBC will also reduce your oxygen carrying capacity, and that is what we also call as anemic. Heard about it? Anemic. If your RBC reduces, the oxygen carrying capacity of your body reduces, and in turn will create make your body become blue and can eventually lead to death. Also, my dearest students, RBC removes carbon dioxide from the body, right? From the body, transporting it to the lungs. You see how major role, such a small thing, you cannot even look this with your naked eyes. It carries oxygen as well as carbon dioxide. So tomorrow, if UPSC asks you a question, RBC carries only oxygen, wrong. RBC carries only carbon dioxide, wrong. Please remember, RBC carries both oxygen and carbon dioxide. In and out, if they give you, it's important, or it's not a very big issue. Also, a very important thing that plays in the manufacturing of an RBC is iron. Not the iron that you say to make chairs and table. Don't try to eat that. That's a very wrong idea. that you try to eat chair and table iron, but the iron, right, the mineral that you required in minute quantities, and it plays a very major role in basically manufacturing of your RBC. That's why that's why Indian government started a scheme of giving folic acid and tablet basically to female from 7th standard to their higher secondary, because they know that things like menstrual cycle, loss of blood might cause severe loss of RBC. That's why this iron deficiency problem is tackled by giving them folic acid tablet, which helps in the manufacturing of RBC. I hope we are clear. The third component of your blood is white blood cells. They are also called as leukocytes. White blood cells. That's why something like this they look like. So white blood cells. They are stored in blood and lymph tissues. Very, very important. Some of the some of the WBCs have a short lifespan of 1 to 3 days, accounts for 1% of our blood. Such a small thing, right? Why to be worried about it? But they are the soldiers of your body. They play a very big role in your immunity, right? When you talk about HIV, right? HIV AIDS, remember HIV attacks WBC. It kills your immune capacity, in turn making your body weak and in turn leading to cases like deaths. Within WBC, we have 5 components which play different role, and we have to understand from the prelims point of view each one of them very simply. The first one is called monocytes. Monocytes. They have a very long life and they also break down bacteria. They do, and they break down bacteria. Okay, and they play a very great role in breaking down the bacteria. Then you have lymphocytes. Lymphocytes create soldiers in your body. They're like, आजा देख लेंगे कौन अटैक करेगा हमारी बॉडी पे, ये वाला कौन है, इसको कैसे मारेंगे. They do all of this. They create antibodies to fight against bacteria, viruses, and any invader. Anyone who's trying to attack you will be killed by lymphocytes, because lymphocytes produces what we say is basically antibodies. Okay. The third one is neutrophils. When you study about neutrophils, they kill and digest bacteria. They will kill and digest it. And they are our first line of defense. Any attack that is happening from outside, neutrophils are our first line of defense. They are like our first soldiers. They are like, हम तो शहीद हो जाएंगे but body को कुछ होने नहीं देंगे. Right? They are our first lines of defense. The fourth one is basophils. Now basophils are like those students in the class who will tell teacher if something wrong is happening. So what basophils is that they will sound alarm as soon as they know that there has been some invasion from an infection, which is affecting the blood. As soon as they sound the alarm, other blood cells, they get alert, and other immune system of the body, they get alert, and they try to basically neutralize that particular invasion. Okay. They play a very big role in body immune system. And then you have eosinophils. These eosinophils attack parasites and cancer cell, and they also help in allergic responses. You know how allergy is caused, right? Sometimes people have allergy of cough. Sometimes it could be of something else. So eosinophils play a very big role in tackling the allergic, issues with respect to the body. So that's your white blood cell, the soldier of your body, the CPSLR, the supervisor, the food soldier, which helps your body to protect, from any invasion of bacteria, parasites, or any harmful invaders. The fourth one are platelets. I hope you all have seen and heard about dengue, and we always see dengue platelets are decreasing, platelets are decreasing. These are the platelets that we are talking about. They are very tiny. They are very tiny, but they help body to form clots. They help body to form clots. Let's see, tomorrow there is a guy who has a hand, there is a cut happened, but blood will start flowing. If the platelets are not there, these bloods will continuously flow. If the platelets are there, they will form a clot and stop the flow of the blood. Right? Also, if any blood vessel are damaged, right, they also send out signal to platelets. Platelets rushes to the site of this damage and they put up clots. Let's see, there is a blood vessel, there is some rupture here. They will inform platelet is come and they will fix this rupture, making there should not be any flow of blood. The process of spreading across the surface of a damaged blood vessel is called adhesion. Sorry, that word has gone behind this diagram. It's called adhesion. So these platelets also play a very important role in your body. So we saw RBC, we saw WBC, we saw platelets, and we saw plasma. These are your four important components of the blood. The functions of these components can be asked in prelims in a very simple form. They can ask, consider the following statement, or matching A with B. Such question can also be asked where A side they give you all the components and B side they give you all the functions. Okay, so just go through them once and you will remember it forever. Now, after studying blood, we need to now understand a little bit more about the blood. And in that, one of the functions that we need to understand is the function of antigen. Antigen. Heard about antigen? We need to understand what do you mean by antigen. This is our second topic. We'll try to see whether we'll be able to understand this topic called antigen. Antigen is a substance that stimulates immune response. It helps your body to form an immune response. What do you mean by immune response? Let's say you are walking on the road and you see there is a dog here who is basically barking. You're walking on the road and you see the dog barking. The first thing you do is that you either pick up a stone or a stick. Because if the dog is angry, then it might attack you. Okay? And these will help you to protect you against this dog. And that is what is done by your antigen. What they do is that as soon as they see, if there is an infection, they activate lymphocytes, right? And this lymphocyte, which are, basically present in WBC, these lymphocytes will fight these kind of infections. Majorly, there are two types of antigen. The first one is called foreign antigen, and the second one, is that there are two main division of antigen. One is called foreign antigen known as heteroantigen, and the second one is autoantigen or called self antigen. Right? And they're very important because any virus, let's see, this is a huge body of a person, right? Any virus that attacks this body, right? It is the antigen who tried to protect you basically from, stimulating an immune response. Right? And these antigens basically basically they help, to fight, they create an immune response from your body. Okay? And your WBC, whom you can also call as leukocytes, which I showed you, they defend the body against infection and diseases. These infection can happen either by ingesting a foreign material or by destroying an infectious agents or by producing antibodies for that particular antigen. Okay, these antigen, when they attack body, your body produces antibodies which try to attack this antigens and finish it off. Okay, and they are very, very important. Okay, this is the kind of system that happens in your body. For antigens, there is an antibody created, and once your antibody created, the next time you'll be very much safe from that particular antigens. Okay, so this is how even your polio or any other infections they try to tackle. Okay, because they create an immune response in your body which helps your body to fight against that particular invasion. Now, foreign antigens, okay, this could be from outside the body. For example, in terms of polio, what we give is that inactivated polio virus. This is a 2-3 drops of polio virus is given. It's an inactivated virus. But by looking at these bodies, there is an immune system created in the body of antibodies. Okay, right? And then once your body remember this immune response, tomorrow even when the actual virus attacks, your body is protected. Okay, so these foreign antigens originate from outside. Okay, this could be from any virus or any bacteria, and they help your body to create an antibody which can fight this particular antigen, and then your body will remember this antibody. So tomorrow even this antigen attack, your body will be able to protect you. Okay, that's how we are saved in polio. When you talk about autoantigens, right, they originated within the body. Okay, the beauty of your body is that your body is able to differentiate between the antigens that belong to body and the antigen that doesn't belong to body. Okay, but if your body is suffering from autoimmune disorders, right, autoimmune disorders, this response may not happen. Okay, normally the body will produce a response, but if it's suffering from some kind of immune disorder, then this creates a lot of trouble. Okay, so that's the beauty of the body, that it knows that how to differentiate between the antigen that are there within the body and the antigen that are coming outside the body. For both, they will try to produce an antibody to neutralize this particular antigens. Okay, so this is with respect to today's class. We studied about blood and RBC, WBC, platelets, plasma and antigens. Okay, and how antigen stimulates immune response in your body. In the next class, we will talk about how our body system works when the foreign antigen is detected and what was the origin behind the name coronavirus. Because in coronavirus, what happens is that your body is not able to set up an immune system to fight against corona because they have not seen corona before. So our body doesn't know how to fight this corona, and that's what the scientists are trying to do. The problem is that this corona is getting mutated and we don't know how to fight that. That's why we have studied this topic today, because it is appearing in current affairs in a very different format. And in the coming next class, we will talk about these two topics, and if possible we'll try to cover something extra. So for today, this is enough. Please watch next lesson for these two topics. For any clarification with respect to voice or anything, please do let us know so that we should be able to tackle it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Tata.